There was a time the Oba of Lagos said the people don't vote for Igbos who don't vote for them will be driven into the lagoon. So what else do you want them to say? You see them on Twitter, they have handles that are dedicated to, attacking other ethnicities.
So you think they're unapologetic about this?
They're not. And those handles have been linked to the Lagos state government people.
But you're a Yoruba man. Why are you saying this about your people?
I don't know why people just say that, because you're being a Yoruba person doesn't take my humanity away. But you must understand that this is not just about landmark. There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they're holding Nnamdi Kanu.
What's your take on
for asking
Nnamdi Kanu's perpetual detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. He said 120,000 of them have surrendered with foreign currency in their hand. And you have rehabilitated them. But one guy who says, we want justice, we don't want to stay in Nigeria, you are holding him perpetually, using the judiciary or judicial, subterfuge to keep the trial. And everybody who knows what they are doing understand that it's not a judicial matter.
So Nnamdi is essentially a political prisoner.
He's a political hostage.
Guys, welcome back again to my channel. Sowore have come out to blast and to give to Tinubu's government, and also state that there's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. And Sowore have also been on this issue that there's an Igbo problem in Nigeria, because he said that an memo was passed to the federal government about the Igbos, that they should be careful of the Igbos. Until that day, and like he said, that problem started ever since the civil war, that the Nigerian government have always hated the Igbos because of the federal war. And he explained the reasons in this video, which I like guys to also watch at the end, because this is actually an interesting video coming from Sowore, where he stated the main reasons why Igbos are hated in Nigeria, why there is an Igbo problem in Nigeria. Sowore explained and hammered on that. And I love the way he explained, which I would like guys to watch in a minute. And that explains why Nnamdi Kanu is still detention, because of a crime that the federal government said that he committed, which was that he wanted the freedom of his people. But the federal government went to reinstate Boko Haram members that are known for terrorism. He went to reinstate the terrorists into the society, but yet a noble man like Nnamdi Kanu just said that he wanted his people's freedom. But you termed him a terrorist, and then since then you've arrested him and kept him in detention till today. They kidnapped him rather, because they took him against his will. That means actually a kidnap. So now guys should just watch and hear what Sowore said in this video. It's actually an interesting video, like I said. You enjoy it, and don't forget to click the like buttons, and if you can subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in my next video as we watch this video.
There was a time the Oba of Lagos said the people don't vote for Igbos who don't vote for them will be driven into the lagoon. So what else do you want them to say? You see them on Twitter, they have handles that are dedicated to attacking other ethnicities.
So you think they're unapologetic about this?
They're not. And those handles have been linked to the Lagos state government people.
But you're a Yoruba man. Why are you saying this about your people?
I don't know why people just say that, because you're being a Yoruba person doesn't take my humanity away. But you must understand that this is not just about landmark. There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they're holding Nnamdi Kanu.
What's your take on
for asking
Nnamdi Kanu's
for
perpetual detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. He said 120,000 of them have surrendered with foreign currency in their hand. And you have rehabilitated them. But one guy who says, we want justice, we don't want to stay in Nigeria, you are holding him perpetually, using the judiciary or judicial, subterfuge to keep the trial. And everybody who knows what they are doing understand that it's not a judicial matter.
So Nnamdi is essentially a political prisoner.
He's a political hostage. Well, I'll call him not a political, because whomever is in power, except me, will keep him in jail.
So do you think that Igbos generally are endangered species in Nigeria? Going back what you just narrated.
The truth, that's the truth. Nigeria did not forgive Igbos since the end of the Civil War.
What did they do?
Because they challenged the real estate of the British called Nigeria. So, and they didn't forgive them since then. So everything has been done after that. We know this is the unspoken truth about the country called Nigeria, that they did not forgive Igbos for the Civil War.
The Igbos were the victims, and they have forgiven the victims. So why is it difficult for the victims to...
We are preaching to the choir.
And because he had mentioned once that, in an interview, he had mentioned that the Igbos will never be president of Nigeria. There is a perpetual, narration to keep the Igbos where they are.
Yes, so, no, it's not about even the presidency. If they find an Igbo man that is malleable, that can work in their interest, they can make him president if he doesn't have any power. You can be a
And still
president
be given power.
you can be a president of Nigeria and not have the powers of the president. When they wanted to destroy the landmark, who was the minister in charge? It's not an Igbo man.
And Moka is Igbo speaking, also fighting.
It's easier for them to use an Igbo man to carry out. If it was done by a Yoruba man, the uproar would have been worse. But you find an Igbo minister of works to help you demolish Igbo businessmen. You say, can't you see them? So it's easier that way. It's manipulation. It's how Nigeria manipulate people. But I'm not saying that if he was a Yoruba minister, he cannot demolish. They will do it too. It's easy. Anybody could have done it as long as there's an agreement to do it. Because beyond just ethnicity, there's also an elite conspiracy against Nigerian people. So an average poor person is endangered. But you are likely more endangered if you have committed a generational crime against the Nigerian real estate. Owned
by being an Igbo man.
Of course, that's the truth.
The inability of the previous government, Buhari, Jonathan, to remove fuel subsidy, and the ability of this current government, the president, to remove that subsidy, doesn't it show some kind of political will to do right?
It's not the political will.
Where others fear to tread here.
No, it's not political will. See, why people like Tinubu are dangerous is that they have been in this game for a long time. And I say they're very dangerous people because they have been involved in everything. They were in the opposition. They have been in government before. So they understand the weakness of Nigerian people. That was why the day he removed subsidy was when nobody was watching. The day everybody was watching but not paying attention, which was the day of his inauguration. And I won't be surprised that him falling on that day was programmed to distract attention. So they created content for people. Oh, Tinubu just fell, Yakata. But he did the worst thing that could happen to the economy of the people.
Was it only content? Because fuel immediately jumped from...
No, I'm not saying that. A lot of people paid more attention to the fact that he fell.
But the presidents have stated it several times that one of the reasons why he would ensure he works for the generality of the good of the people, it's because he fought the military, he risked his life, and he fought for this democracy we're enjoying.
You're saying that they didn't fight the military because they have the same characteristics. In fact, what they are doing is worse than what the military was doing.
What are those things?
Yes. This idea of jailing children after protests, jailing people for speaking against government officials. This is what the Decree 2 and Decree 4 people were doing.
So are you saying that the president administration is worse than the military?
It is worse than the military. The military did not even jail children during their own time.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They didn't charge children for trips.
Okay, before we travel far from the fuel subsidy something, one last question. I want us to play some kind of role reversal. If you were the president, assuming you won the election, what would you have done differently regarding the fuel subsidy issue?
So, what I would have done differently is, first, I am aware of the people who are stealing fuel subsidy money. I know them. I know everybody that's involved. And do you know how I know? I covered fuel subsidy, fuel matters like nobody else under Sahara reporters. I've seen all of them till today. So, I would have clamped down on them immediately. And secondly, I would have fixed the refineries and created newer, smaller refineries. Because refineries are very easy to put together.
Like modular refineries?
Yes, even the ones, you can build a refinery within a year, they'll bring the parts, put it together. And the reason is simple. Even as Nigeria is unable to fix its own refineries, and they're lying about fixing the ones they fix.
I was coming to that.
Niger Delta militants are able to produce diesel in this country, in large quantities.
They still produce kerosene. In fact, they bragged, there was a time they said that the kerosene that they're selling in most filling stations are supplied by them.
Yes. So if Niger Delta militants can be doing the old style biology class distillation, how is it that the federal government cannot do the same thing? But don't forget that these same people that claim that they can't build refineries went and built a refinery in Ivory Coast. Yes, under Jonathan. And we are importing fuel from there. There's a refinery in Niger. Niger doesn't even have oil. They're selling fuel to Nigeria. How is that Nigeria cannot build refineries? Even the Dangote refinery, the famed Dangote, was built how many years ago? It was after occupying Nigeria that he built his refinery. Blower is going to finish his refinery very soon. All these guys benefited from forex provided by Nigerian government to build their refinery. These guys have already spent 2 years almost in power.
Yes, almost.
Because by February of 2027, election is here. So we have about, almost
in fact,
2 years to go.
2026, electioneering starts.
In fact, they have started. They started electioneering already for poverty so that people will come, they beg for them to at least give small. And then they will now preserve everything towards the end at their usual palliatives.
With all that the president is doing?
What has he done? Make you tell me now. Where is it that you have found the jobs that they promised they will create? Where have you found the roads that they said the money they will save from removal of fuel subsidy they will use to build it? Where have you found the hospital that they built? The only people who are doing well is the president and his people. He's the one who bought a new jet in the midst of this starvation and poverty. He's the one who bought a new Escalade, providing jobs for their own voice. That's not his issue.
So you don't believe in the tax reform policy?
What is the tax reform going to do?
It's going to collect
more for the same people. I've already talked about tax before. Now, what you need is to increase not taxes, but expand the tax base. And I know this because Nigeria has the lowest tax base in West Africa. And it's because the rich people are not paying taxes. But now you want to collect more from the poor, which was something exported from Lagos. They exported this whole tax collection thing from Lagos. You know where it's going to end? You're going to have private tax collectors introduced nationally.
You just sound like the president is somebody who already understands the character of Nigerians and he plays with the character. Is that what you're trying to say? That the president is deliberate with how he deals with Nigerians?
Most people don't know Tinubu as much as I know him. And it was because when we were doing pro-democracy, we knew them. We knew how they came to the pro-democracy movement and stylishly hijacked it with Nadeko and ran away from the country. Left those of us who really were doing the struggle to be endangered. Why they all disappeared.
Oh, you think that was deliberate?
It was.
So are you also of the school of thought that perhaps he was working with Abacha somehow? Because people are insinuating that there was a backyard movement, and that's why you have people like Bangu working in this administration.
They were close to all the politicians at that time, the SDP people, they were all close. Even Abiola.
So that means he was betrayed in Nadeko at that time?
No, they were all part of it. Even Abiola cabinet, it was the cabinet Abiola wanted to use that he gave to Abacha. Foolishly, I would say that any day. Thinking that Abacha will hand over power to him. But there's no way in the world that people get power and hand it over to anybody. Not even a father will hand over power to their child except they are dying and they have no reason to keep on to power. So it's the same thing with all of them. Do you know how you understand what the game they were playing? When Abacha died, all these politicians went to meet with Abubakar. They did not ask after Abiola. Yes, we were in Lagos waiting for Abiola to be released. We saw them meeting with Abubakar. And when Abubakar took over power and handed over power, they were his greatest friends.
There's a deliberate impoverishment of the
Nigerian people. That is what, what did removal of fuel subsidy do to you?
Governors are getting more money.
Yes, governors are not poor. There are these people who are already rich who are getting more money. Are you getting yes. Okay. The rich is getting richer. The poor people are getting poorer.
So should we hold the president responsible for the fact that governors are getting more money yet that money doesn't
trickle down?
Those money don't trickle down to the poor.
Do you know what has happened under the Tinubu regime? They have created a one-state system, one-party state. That's what I was trying to say. And that is that if Tinubu travels to Lagos today, all the governors will come migrating.
Block those leakages and those loopholes in our subsidy system, and then to also call them out and thoroughly deal with those people who are gaining from the subsidy.
That's exactly why when they are retelling these stories, we must keep telling it the appropriate way. People have said that in 2012 people fought against Jonathan's subsidy and as a result have no right to complain when Tinubu removed subsidy. That's not true. What we found out during Jonathan's time after the Occupy Nigeria 2012 struggle was that we actually found out that a lot of the people were supplying fuel weren't supplying anything. Some of them, it was found out, were importing fuel to Nigeria with ships that capsized 20 years ago. You knew about it. Some were importing water and claiming. So the port became a place for racket. All of them were arrested, or some of them were arrested. They probably arrested the small boys. But go ask today what happened to it. Was anybody?
That just it. Igbo man have done nothing to Nigeria, and the Nigeria have also been hitting on them. And like they say, no Igbo is in a big political position in Nigeria. They are all Yoruba, Minister of Education Yoruba, Minister of Sports Yoruba, Minister of Finance Yoruba, the President Yoruba, the Vice President Yoruba, the Minister of Public Health Yoruba. All of them are Yorubas. And Tinubu is just busy appointing Yorubas. Then what happens to the Igbos? Is a question to be asked because they don't like the Igbos. Forget that Tinubu came to Enugu on Saturday last week. It does not mean anything to the Igbo land because Tinubu have not done anything in the southeast that to better our lives. Tinubu have not done anything in the southeast to know that he showed concern. Just coming there to commission a place doesn't mean that you show concern about history. You're just doing or carrying out a political duties. And this is actually a insight about the hatred in Igbo land. Why the federal government hates the Igbo? Because Nnamdi Kanu committed this offense that other persons have committed, but you left those persons and then arrested or kidnapped only Nnamdi Kanu, leaving those people to moving freely on the streets. Then make it make sense. That means it's impartial. We don't have an equal judgment in Nigeria. That means that Nigeria cannot be unified as one. Nigeria cannot be one in this country because of this issue of hatred in Igbo land. Northerners are not crying that they want to leave Nigeria now. That they want to be on their own. Let the Igbos go. Let outsiders go on their own. Something that Sunday Igbo said, but he is yet to be arrested or sanctioned. You know, this life, actually, those who can bully you, bully them. Just take a look at what happened between Burna Boy, Spitanity, and then Kumara Chief Priest. Kumara Chief Priest was talking about Didi Oyo. The same thing that Spitanity said about Burna Boy, and he was arrested. But Burna Boy could not arrest Kumara Chief Priest because he's an elite in Nigeria. He has money, he has connections. But Burna Boy went ahead to arrest Spitanity because of what? Because of bullying. Because he felt like he has power over him. I will see you guys as every video watch in the comment section. I'll be with you guys shortly in my next video. Don't forget to always subscribe. Stay tuned, guys.